A typical training day at Wentworth Woodhouse will start with an icebreaker, and it's a new one each week. Then we settle into the real work, which for weeks 4 and 5 was preparing 3 pitch videos of creative ideas that could be worked up for the Children's Capital of Culture celebrations. We'd previously split the team into 3 groups, and they worked off-site to collaborate on their ideas and to create scripts and screenplays. But before we settled on an actual concept to develop further, we ran the ideas past a dragon's den of leaders from partners in the Children's Capital of Culture project.
What creative opportunities are there for young aspiring filmmakers in Rotherham? Let that sink in.
We're 3 lads that have grown up in and around Rotherham, but all 3 of us have had to leave to pursue creative opportunities.
This is the same story for many young people in the area who feel there are no creative opportunities and have to move away from their home to pursue their dreams, or simply not follow their passions at all.
We want to change this by creating the Rotherham Creative Door Film Course to give 4 groups of young people the opportunity to experience and develop a traineeship in filmmaking on their doorstep over the course of 2025.
The central hub will be right here at Wentworth Woodhouse, given the chance to gain industry insight through professional links and fully experience producing a short film from concept to final piece.
This means by the end of the year there will be 4 short films that provide a second exciting opportunity for not just the young people, but for the people of Rotherham.
And imagine a grand film premiere right here at Wentworth. A red carpet rolling down the steps and the young people being treated like celebrities for a night.
The red carpet continues with guests including family, friends, industry professionals, local representatives and news outlets.
And in the ballroom, the main event, a large screen to premiere the short films to the guests, and an award ceremony to celebrate the achievements of young people. And then, the premiere begins.
We really believe this is a golden opportunity that can open new creative doors for young people in Rotherham, the same as this 6-month opportunity at Wentworth Woodhouse is doing for us.
Providing an opportunity to make new friends, develop creative skills, discover themselves, network in the industry, or just enjoy the experience and do something worthwhile for Rotherham.
And how do we plan to make it unique?
We want to make this creative door to opportunities physical by having a central door frame that features in each short film, then is signed by the young people at the premiere event, so it stands as a proud memento either in Wentworth Woodhouse or Clifton Park Museum for years to come.
What would you see success look like at the end of this? If you were to go and do it, what would it look like? What would the success factor be for you?
I think picturing the premiere itself probably would be, you know, seeing it's like Wentworth Woodhouse busy with people, like a red carpet event, as we've mentioned, and seeing that where we're seeing photographers and probably interest from external sources where we spoke about local news and local newspapers, and having photographers come down and really making it as much like it was a red carpet event as possible, like almost like a big film's being released. And I think seeing that happen, and that will certainly look like a success to me.
And I suppose kind of having four short films that are obviously made in Rotherham would kind of show success, because it's showing what Rotherham can offer creative wise. So obviously a lot of people don't tend to associate sort of filmmaking with Rotherham. They kind of tucked under the shadow of Sheffield and stuff like that. So it's kind of pulling Rotherham out of that would be quite successful as well.
Yeah, thank you.
That's a good answer.
Hi, we are somewhere northeast of Sheffield.
How well do you know your neighbours? What about these guys?
What about her?
What's this guy's story?
Rotherham is so much further than a poor man's Sheffield, but how often do you actually tell someone you're from Rotherham?
We have industry, music, history, and are even home to the legendary Chugger Brothers, but we are also home to a variety of diverse and vibrant communities.
How could we possibly show Rotherham from only one perspective? Let's try 4.
So you're just going to randomly follow 4 people around? What's the point of that?
No, we're going to create 4 characters, each one inspired by a different community in Rotherham.
So it's 4 unconnected random people. How is that going to work?
We are going to create a film that showcases individual stories in Rotherham through a multi-narrative film incorporating musical elements in an innovative visual style.
We'll use 4 LED walls to create a 360 immersive experience. We'll incorporate music that will be inspired by musicians from Rotherham, like Bring Me the Horizon and Self-Esteem.
At Sonda Productions, we want to tell people's stories in a detailed way, and this is exactly that, giving an insight on different stuff of life in Rotherham.
We want to use familiar locations around Rotherham that people will immediately recognise, such as Clifton Park and the New York Football Stadium, which will engage the audience to say,
I know that street.
I know where that is.
This will help people from Rotherham see themselves and their community represented in a positive light.
It'll also show people like me not from Rotherham how culturally rich the town is.
It would directly benefit local creative people as everyone could get involved in producing the project.
So what makes this unique? Well, we have our engaging presentation, original music and captivating narrative style.
So get behind our project and join us in sharing and celebrating the cultures in Rotherham.
Absolutely. We were talking about this as well, weren't we, when we were sort of coming up with the characters and storylines. I think the hope would be, Natalie, that through telling the stories, it reframes Rotherham's narrative a bit, especially for the people in Rotherham, and just showing like, look, again, sorry, I feel a bit hypocritical saying this is someone not from Rotherham, but you know, these are the experiences that everyday people in Rotherham have, and you know, you do have football fans and you've got people helping each other out, and how great would it be if people saw more of that narrative about Rotherham than all the negative press. And I'll be honest, I hadn't even heard of Rotherham until like 5 or 6 years ago, but growing up down south especially, there's not really much coverage, and especially positive coverage about northern cities and northern communities. So it would be a brilliant way of showing people like me sort of the really, really strong community networks that are alive in towns like this.
So are you saying it would be a really positive film for characters? Because they're all in quite challenging positions, aren't they? They're in quite a, you know, you're saying a young non-binary person who's struggling with gender identity, and then, you know, somebody who's a carer, and they've obviously got quite a few things within their stories that are quite challenging for them, but you're trying to make a film about them that's really positive.
Yeah, so we obviously want to acknowledge Rotherham's past, but we also don't want to glaze over it. Okay. So each group and community do have struggles, but some of these struggles can be similar. So it is about seeing the similarities as well as the differences, and put Rotherham in a positive light, not extremely positive, but saying there is this other side to it. And that's kind of why we called it Somewhere Northeast of Sheffield, because we're obviously kind of under the shadow of Sheffield, but as it kind of, to me, it reminds me of Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and it's saying there is this other side, there's light at the end, it can get better, we all just need to get together and do it.
It's about resilience as well, isn't it?
Definitely,
like,
yeah.
Showing that even in adversity, people can come together in a community and just embrace everyday aspects of life and help each other out, which is, I think, that's something that's brushed over all too often.
I have something to add. So social media like sugarcoats people's lives, and people don't know the struggles that other people have. They sugarcoat it and make it seem like they all have a good life, when in reality they might not be having such a good time. And it's just bringing in the truth out that like people do struggle, and like with similar things, and on social media they seem to be so good and perfect, and they're not. So we have to show that, you know, people do struggle and we can help each other with our problems.
Okay, good, thank you.
Wouldn't it be exciting to turn our town of Rotherham into an adventure game of mystery? Just imagine it, a colossal maze filled with hidden gems to discover, and everyone gets to take part. And our goal is to turn Rotherham into a creative hub, a home of imagination, discovery and problem solvers. The premise is simple. We'll create a virtual world within Rotherham, a secret place to discover with clues and quests scattered throughout. And we'll do this through the power of digital storytelling. The idea is just to put character statues throughout. It can range from animals, architecture, people, and they'll have QR codes engraved within them. The QR codes will play a video, but also show a description stating what the area is about and many different interesting facts about it. Also, the QR codes will state clues for the next quest.
Eventually there will be a final quest that leads to Wentworth Woodhouse for the grand finale. We think Wentworth Woodhouse is the best place for a finale because it's such a hidden gem that not many people know about. Travelling to the house from Rotherham only takes 10 minutes via car, which means it's really accessible. We were also inspired by Pokemon Go and Jumanji for the game aspect of the quest, but also Banksy, as a lot of his artwork is hidden all over the world.
But the question is, how would we promote this game? We would create a film showing characters who are travelling to an event in Sheffield, but they have taken a wrong turn, which leads them to be feeling lost. As they start to scavenge around, they see a character's statue that intrigues them and has a QR code on it. So they pull out their phones, scan it, and a video loads up that tells them that they are in Rotherham, a town bordering on Sheffield. But as they continue to watch, they are asked if they'd like to go on a quest around Rotherham to find similar places to their current location, and that there's an added reward at the end. The characters know that they should be going to a party in Sheffield, but the reward is too tempting, so they accept the quest and lead down a maze of adventure.
And one last question from me. With the QR code and you've got your videos, obviously you've got a multicultural community in Rotherham. So what language is that going to be produced in?
Oh, we've not thought about that, but it's a good question. Well, we could have, I think we'd see what the most predominantly used language in Rotherham is to start with, and then there's a chance we could do it so when you tap the QR code, you could choose the language. I don't know if you can do that, but we could have a look and you could tap the language with subtitles, or if we could do a voiceover.
Okay, thank you.
Energised with feedback from the Dragons, the team immediately began to revisit their ideas. They now have a few more weeks to finalise their concepts before facing the Dragons once again.